What's going on, everybody? Kyle Powers here, Haven Real Estate Group at eXp Realty. K-State grad, turned contractor, turned real estate agent and investor. Today, I have a very special guest with me for another episode of Local Legends of the Flint Hills, where business meets community. I've got Frank Kirby here with Shots for Soldiers. Frank, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Let's go and jump right in, man. Frank, tell me a little bit about yourself, right? I know, obviously off camera, we've talked a lot about Shots for Soldiers and a lot of different things that come in with that, but let's start with you, right? I know your military background. Let's kind of start the beginning there. Tell me a little bit about you.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm originally from Franklin, Ohio. That's just north of Cincinnati. I joined the military back right after September 11th. So I joined on September 27th. Kind of got that wild hair up my butt to go actually do something about what was going on. So I started off in aviation. Spent 20 years in Army aviation, everything from crewing CH-47s, those are Chinooks, to flying Blackhawks my last 13 years in the military. After that, I retired. Stayed here in Manhattan because it's an amazing family environment. That was really our big push. We did have some ventures in other states, but we decided to stay here for family because that's the most important thing, in my opinion. That's the only thing we really got in the end. So we decided to stay here, and then I started a small business. From that, I met some great people in town that were impacting veterans and locals in a couple different amazing ways, both with stem cells and with PRP. Linked up with this great guy named Pat Farley. Pat and I started to work together a little bit, and we decided to do something for veterans with one of the programs that he has called Enzo Doctors, where they do PRP training here locally for direct primary care doctors from around the country. And we decided to basically make Shots for Soldiers, where we give free regenerative medical treatments to veterans in need.
Well, perfect, Frank. Thank you so much for that information. So yeah, let's talk about Shots for Soldiers, right? So let's start at the beginning. What year, when did you start Shots for Soldiers? That's a mouthful.
So we started Shots for Soldiers back in July of 2021. Same year I was retiring from the military. So I retired actually in November, but we started this in July. We did our first, where we were developing the concept of how we were going to actually accomplish it. And we did our very first event. It was August in 2021.
What I want to dive into a little bit deeper, and I know that we can talk for hours about this stuff. So let's dive deeper into what Shots for Soldiers actually is, right? Again, I know you and I have had a lot of conversations about it, but let's dive into the process of Shots for Soldiers and what that looks like.
So typically, I'll start with the reason why we started it. So the reason why we started Shots for Soldiers is because a lot of people have this concept that you think veterans get out of the military and we automatically have free health care. That's not actually the case. If you do not retire from the military, you do not have free health care. Or if you did not get injured to the extent where your medical disability reaches a certain level, then you do not have 100% free health care. What does happen is when a veteran gets out of the military, if I hurt my knee in combat or while serving our country, then I would get coverage on just that joint. What Shots for Soldiers does is we kind of cut through the bureaucratic red tape and we go, it doesn't matter if you hurt it during the military. What we want to do is help you because you've served this country and you deserve to be, you deserve not to have restrictions on what healthcare is provided to you. So what we do is we provide free PRP injections through using Enzo Doctors PRP kits and partnering with Enzo Doctors while they're doing their medical training. So they bring doctors from around the country to this little small town of Manhattan. Some people think it's the Big Apple, but it's really the Little Apple. So those doctors are coming in for medical training. They already know how to do injections. What we're actually training them is how to use the PRP kits. And what we did was a lot of people like hands-on experience. So I learned best with hands-on experience. So we wanted to bring people in for the doctors to actually treat. They already know how to do injections. The only thing we really change is we show them how to do ultrasound-guided injections as well. So what we decided is we were bringing in, normal people from around town, just coming in, trying to find somebody with a knee injury. And we know veterans all of us are beat to crap. I mean, we really are. I'm 42 years old. I've got the spine of a 65-year-old man from flying helicopters. Dr. Peliquin laughs at me because he says he told me when he looked at my MRI, you have the spine of a 65-year-old man and you're 42. So we didn't want to limit those veterans' ability to get treatment. So what we do is we give them free PRP injections. Now, what is PRP, right? PRP comes from your blood. So essentially, when you cut your finger, you have, your blood rushes to that area and it scabs. What creates those scabs? The platelets do. The platelets rush to that area, they pop over that area, and they release growth factors, which is your body's own ability to heal itself. So then your body goes through that process and starts healing, and that's how your body's healing is actually working. So what we do is we take your blood, we take 60 mils of your blood, we're going to spin it in a centrifuge for 10 minutes, and we're going to separate the red and white blood cells from your platelet-rich plasma. And that is the gold of your blood. That is what promotes the healing and the growth factors. Those growth factors then release over those areas and help promote healing. So what we do is we multiply your growth, your ability to heal yourself by 3 to 5. So you're multiplying your own body's ability to heal yourself. The only thing we put in your blood is an anticoagulant, because if we didn't put the anticoagulant in, then your blood would turn to a jelly, and I can't inject jelly in you, right? And I'm not a doctor. I don't do the injecting, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm a pilot. I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express, but it wasn't that good. So we're not putting any medicine in you. We're not putting anything that's not already in you. So it's your body's ability to heal itself, and you're not going to reject it because it's already your product. The trouble with using other people's stem cells or things of that nature with regenerative medicine is your body can actually reject it. With PRP, your body's not going to reject it. It may help you amazingly, and it may just help you a little bit. You may, depending on the severity of your injury, you may need multiple injections. So I've got a bad knee that I treat once a year. I've got my right knee, I treated it once 3 years ago, and I haven't treated it since.
You brought up some good points, right? So let me ask this question. So how long does it last?
So that depends on the severity of your injury. So like I said, I've got my right knee treated 2.5, 3 years ago, and I haven't had to get it retreated. Now my left knee there's no cartilage in my left knee. It's a hot mess. So it's about once a year. So if you've got a bad injury, it could last you up to a year on that bad injury. But if it's a mild injury like my right knee, you may never need it again. So it really depends on the severity of the injury. So the big difference, how long does it last, right? So the big difference to me is the current treatment that is used. So the current practice is to shoot you up with steroids. Right? Steroids are great. They work quickly. You've got 48 hours before it kicks in, right? But what is it actually doing to you long term? Because I want to live I want to live to be 100, right? That's not going to happen. Sure. But sure, I'd love to feel great at 100. That's not going to happen. But with the steroids, you're actually getting the breakdown and degradation of that tissue long term. With PRP, you don't have that. You do not have that negative side effect. You do not have the chance of rejecting it. The only thing you're worried about is if you got poked with a dirty needle. That's the worst thing that could happen to you with PRP. And we don't do that here. We use sterile kits, so that's not an issue. But that would be the worst case scenario for PRP.
What are the actual side effects and then the upside of it?
So the upside to PRP is less pain, less inflammation in your joints. So those platelets, they go to work for your body and start healing that damaged area. There's the side effects. The worst side effect you're going to get is with a shoulder. The shoulder, it just hurts. There's so much going on inside of that shoulder. So the lasting side effects for that would be pain from the injection site. The doctor is going to take that needle and go directly into that joint to inject you. So it's not a topical injection. He's actually going into the pocket in your joint and injecting you. So soreness from that can be a side effect. There has been a couple cases of increased inflammation in that area, and that's actually a good thing. So signs have shown from that, those have been the best recoveries that we've had in the shoulders are the people that actually get inflamed after it, because that is activating those platelets to really go to work in that area. So there has been 2 cases in the last 3 years where the gentleman had a little bit of increased inflammation in that area, and that lasted for about 2 weeks. But those 2 patients have had the best results from shoulders that we've had as far as their lasting results, and they're essentially telling us how they feel afterwards. Yeah.
Well, that's perfect. So, okay, so you hit on it here too, so I'm going to ask it is, talk to me about the injections. I know you're not the one doing the injection, right? But I know that there's a specific way that the doctors go through and inject it. So how do those injections look like, or what do those injections look like, and how does that work?
Okay, so how the process actually works is I'll get the paperwork from the veterans before. I will have them vetted by Dr. Pope or Dr. Peliquin. Dr. Peliquin does spinal injections for us, and we can only do those locally. So if you're a local or you're within driving distance from here, then you can reach out to me and I can get you on the list for a spine. It's a little bit of a longer list because a lot of veterans have jacked up backs. But that's how the process typically goes. You send your paperwork to me. I get you vetted through Dr. Pope or Dr. Peliquin. And then when the doctors come here from training, I'll have a packet for each veteran, and we'll go through with the doctors, and they'll get to pick their veteran. That doctor gets to pick their veteran, and I give that doctor their packet to study the night before. And then that doctor gets to meet their veteran and spend 45 minutes to an hour before their actual injection, talking to them about all their other pain and ailments. So sometimes we'll have a veteran come in for one injection, and then after the doctor spends 30, 45 minutes with them, that doctor now has, after he's evaluated that patient, has a clinical reason why they can inject other joints. So you may come in here for your knee, but yet you're having shoulder pain. After you talk to that doctor and that doctor evaluates you, they may have enough clinical data to be able to inject you. And that's going to be a case-by-case basis with that doctor. And ultimately, it's going to be their decision if they move forward beyond what you've given me, because they have to have a clinical reason to poke you with a needle. So after that injection is done, we have a guy here locally that smokes brisket for us. It's pretty damn good, right? So, sorry I cussed, but it's pretty darn good. So what we have is we'll have brisket here, and my wife makes a bunch of sides. So typically that day we're treating 6 to 10 veterans. So we make enough food for everybody. So you get to hang out with your doctor and talk with the staff. And a lot of times we'll have some of our board members here also.
There you have it. I mean, that's the process. It gets very in-depth, very personal, which is good, right? That's what you want from your doctors and everything. Anybody that's going to inject me, that's what I want it to be, a personal experience. Okay, this is perfect. So talk to me or talk to our viewers. How do we get a hold of you, right?
So we have a website. It's shotsforsoldiers.org. You can go on that website, and at the bottom there's a contact me, and there's also the paperwork that I'll need filled out at the bottom where you can download it. Most people skip that part and they just contact me, or you can reach out to me through my personal cell phone or through Facebook and social media. I would prefer it be through email. I do get a lot of people that pass my information on, and I get text messages at night, sometimes at dinner, and my wife sometimes enjoys those because sometimes she needs a break from me as well because I talk too much as well. So yeah, the best way would be to go onto our website, contact us through the contact us link, the info at shotsforsoldiers.org at the bottom, or to reach out to me on social media.
And I'll go ahead and put his information in the description below, so that way you guys can have that to look over and to reach out. The approved contact information. So Frank, I appreciate you joining me today. Is there anything else you want to add before we wrap it up here?
So this program is something we started from, at first it was something we started just to help veterans in the local area. And it's kind of blown up in our face to be a bit more work than what we initially expected.
In a good way.
In a good way, in a great way. So at this point, we treated over 200 veterans in the last 2 years. We went through the process and we became a 501c3, and we did the long form so we could do not anything we want, but everything we could possibly do to help veterans within the regulations and stipulations that come with a 501c3. And what our biggest problem is not many people know we exist. There's veterans out there, and there's a lot of us. We do something, I always say, I coined this phrase for myself, it's we suffer in silence. You've got a veteran in your family, I guarantee it. And I guarantee that they have issues that we don't know about. And a lot of us like experience is something that we need. So it's easier for me to talk to a veteran about different things that I go through, right? But that like experience and the people asking the question, we lose too many veterans right now due to suicide, due to, alcoholism and inherently some violent acts that, that they just tend to happen when you mix alcohol with those types of with feelings, right? So what I would say is, to those individuals that are suffering in silence, there's a big group of us, and we would love to help you if we can. And even if we can't, we'll do our best to find you the best ability to heal that we can. So any way that we can help a veteran, I'm all for it. And even if it's somebody that you're reaching out for them and you want me to contact them, I'll happily contact anybody and talk to them. So if you have questions about the PRP process, we're not trying to sell you anything when you come here. So we don't make any money. Nobody on our staff gets paid. I do have to pay the individuals that draw blood and the assistants to the nurse, but they aren't my staff. Those are people that work for the events. But aside from that, every dollar that gets donated to this program goes directly towards helping those veterans. I don't make a paycheck. I mean, I volunteer all my time. Our whole board volunteers their time. Everybody that works for us does. So big thanks to Dr. Pope here in the area, who has been at every single event, Dr. Peliquin, who does every single one of our spinal treatments here in town. So those doctors are amazing. So if you need a good doc, seek them out. They're absolutely amazing.
And if you guys remember, if you've been watching these videos and things that way, Dr. Pope was on our series as well. So you can check out his videos so you can learn a little bit more about him and what that looks like. And apparently I need to get Dr. Peliquin on here too. So no, again, thank you so much, Frank, for jumping on here today. Again, I hope that you guys watching this, I hope that you are enjoyed this information about this Shots for Soldiers. I will tell you guys, knowing Frank personally, knowing Dr. Pope personally, these are wonderful, wonderful people. And I can't say enough good things about what you guys are doing here and with this organization and everything that way. And I promise you, if you are military personnel watching this, please reach out to them. If you've got joint pain, if you've got issues and things that way, please reach out, because it really is, they're here to help.
Thank you so much to Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Without them, I mean, we wouldn't have a medical facility to work in. So thank you.
I'll put the contact information for Frank below. If you guys have any questions for Frank or for myself or anything, please put in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. And again, if you haven't done so already, please go and hit that subscribe button. Go and hit that little bell so you get notified of any future content, and give us that like, because it does help us grow the channel. And as always, please, 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 if you know of a veteran that needs any kind of help or any kind of help in general, please share this video with them. Get them in touch with Frank and his group and make sure that they are getting taken care of in the right way. Again, this is a 501c3. It is a nonprofit. So I would say please reach out to them, especially military personnel. You will not regret it. They're wonderful, wonderful people. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Local Legends of the Flint Hills, where business meets community. Make sure you tune in next week, because we'll have another great video for you. Thank you. We'll talk soon.